Yes. All right. Here we go. Here we go. This is what we're going to do. Yep. We are going to discuss, theorize, reminisce on game controllers. Yes, this is a thing we're going to do. This is a thing that we are going to do. And we're going to do something crazy and random every day moving forward if this works out. I think I have high hopes. High hopes. High hopes. I hope you guys do too. All right. So, let's go. I don't remember the order that I've ever played these. I'm pretty sure I've played every single one of these, but the Wii U. I'm pretty sure I've... Can you add a category? Yes. No, I want to add a row below. There we go. Close that. We're going to change this to NA. Let's change that color though. We'll make it NA gray. There we go. NA. I never played it, right? I think I've played them all, but I know I've never played a Wii U. I've never played a Wii U, so let's get that one out of there. Let's identify them all. How about that? Let's start there. That's a Nintendo Switch. I moved my Switch in here yesterday trying to test something. I actually got my Nintendo Switch able to stream it. I did a little test yesterday. That was cool. All right, and then that's definitely a Xbox 360 controller. No, that's a 360 controller. That's an Xbox. No. That's an Xbox 360 controller. That's an Xbox One controller. That's an Xbox controller. All right, Nintendo NES. Yeah. PlayStation. What is this one? Oh, God. Where'd it go? Sega Saturn. Ever played a Sega Saturn? Have I ever played the Sega Saturn? I don't remember. I'm gonna go with no. I'm gonna go with I've never played the Sega Saturn. I can tell you the very first game console I ever played, actually one's not on here, is the Atari. I played the Atari a long time ago. But definitely a Nintendo, right? All right, so let's start off with no. I'm gonna save Nintendo. You haven't played the Atari? Ooh, see, there you go. All right, so we're gonna rate these off of. We gotta remove nostalgia. You gotta remove nostalgia. It's not a thing, right? Nostalgia doesn't conform to what we're doing here today. We're rating controllers based off of comfortability, not the game that you played. And I'm going to go right off the limb, right off the bat, and say Nintendo Classic Controller was absolute garbage. Absolute and complete garbage. The corners hurt, like dug into your hands. The buttons were indented. So you actually, like, when you're pressing and holding the button for ungodly amount of time, right? The circle would indent like a crazy person, right? Don't, but you agree. I'm a heathen, but you agree, right? Not nostalgia, comfortability, right? Quality of controller. Quality. About the, yeah, they would dig into your hands. You'd be like, "Grr!" And that was back in the day, right? That's when the Wii thing came from, right? Because that was the joke. It was funny. For the longest time, people would be like, with their controller, right? And like it was going to make a difference. And then all of a sudden, Nintendo comes out with this sensitivity controller that you can actually do that with, right? They're just messing with people's brains. So I'm going to go with ingenuity and thoughtfulness. We're going to stick with Nintendo here for a while. You know what? No, we're not going to go straight to the Wii. We forgot the 64. No, I digress. That is the Cube controller, right? This is the Cube controller? I think so. Yeah, that's the GameCube. GameCube. Weirdest device ever, right? It was just square. It used a CD, like a tiny CD, but the controller was actually really comfortable, right? It was all right there. Off tilt analog sticks are a little weird though. All right. So we're going to give that a big ol', give that a B. We're going to give that a big ol' B, right? That's better than the N64 controller. You think so? Well, they do make modded ones for the Switch, right? Like all the classics. So that is a thing. So again, it could be. It's on the fence. It could move depending on where we put other things, right? It could move. It could move. All right. Xbox Classic controller. Big, thick. But I was a big guy when that came out, right? I was always really tall. So actually it was great for me. But again, it had the weird off-angle analog, right? The style really hasn't changed that much, like button layout, if you really think about it. So I'm going to give that if we're going to give that a B, you're right. If we're going to give the Xbox Classic controller a B rating, the GameCube is an A. I agree. All right. I got you there. All right. Comfortability, right? The Wii. Oh, not the Wii. That's not the Wii. That's the Switch controller, the standard one, right? Actually, I got it right here. These are so awkward and tiny to use if you don't have like a adapter, right? If you don't have that, it's tiny. I'm a big guy. This thing is tiny. It's tiny in my hand, right? Huge off center if you're playing individually, right? Controllers aren't the same, right? So if you are playing one and then you're playing the other one because you can use these separately, right? It's totally disgusting, right? The button layout's different, on a different side. It's terrible. Terrible. But it does have movement control, vibration, all that cool stuff, right? We'll give it a C. Xbox. Is that a 360 controller? That's a 360 controller. We already dubbed that, right? Is this an Xbox controller too? This is an Xbox controller too. That's an Xbox. Yeah. Where's mine at? Oh, it's right here. See? I got all this stuff. Just testing stuff, playing with stuff, doing stuff. This is not even related. So it just happened. Boom. It's right here. It's a USB one so I can plug it into my computer. It's all good, right? It's actually a really nice, comfortable controller. S-Class. Strong A, weak S. It may get moved. It may get moved. That's the second generation one after, yeah. The huge controller. That huge one was cool. Again, I'm a big guy. It's really comfortable for me. All right. We should have done this in like order they came out. Woo! All right. NES. That's a Super Nintendo, right? That's a Super Nintendo controller. See, I know what I'm talking about. NES A tier. I have to disagree. They did fix the issue with the blockiness where the corners hurt your hands, right? They did change that. They did. They went round. They gave us 4 buttons instead of 2. I don't know why they canted them. The start and stop button, but it's definitely better than the classic. 100%, right? Definitely better. But it's way better than the Wii controller. I keep saying Wii controller. The Switch controller. It honestly is. Yes. I'm going to go. You know what? It did give us 4 buttons. It did give us 4 buttons. It is an A-class. You are correct. It is definitely an A-class controller. 100%. All right. Let's go old again. Let's do another old one. You know what? No. Let's go with a Nintendo Pro controller. I got one of them right here too. Boom. Nintendo Pro controller. Switch Pro. You're good to go, right? Super comfortable. Good vibration, right? good roundiness, wireless, can scan those little emojis, whatever the heck those things are called. Super comfortable. No. But, you know what I just remembered? This controller. Oh, this one does it too. Both of them, right? It gets a notch down because they break easy. It does. That's probably why I dropped that one down so low. I'm going to give it a B. It's a good controller. It's a good design, but it does break easy. They even changed the return program, right? Completely changed the program for it. It's ridiculous. Yeah, mine took a lot longer than other people's, but mine's already drifting. It's terrible. It's terrible. Yeah, it's a C. It's a strong C. It's better. It's better than the standard, but it still breaks. It still breaks. All right. All right. Let's see. Low B. Yeah. Strong C, low B. I agree. That's why I put it up here. That's why I put it in the front. All right. Let's see. Let's stick with Nintendo. Revolution, right? They gave us the greatest Mario game of all time, probably. Mario 64, right? The best Mario game probably ever. Nintendo 64 controller, it was fighting with the PlayStation neck and neck for years, right? And they finally gave us like these little knobs that you see like on the standard PlayStation model, right? But then we had this weird middle one, right? The weird middle one, it was just so like you played it like this. You ended up playing it like this on most of the games, right? It was a little weird, but it was great for its time. Absolutely great for its time, especially compared to the previous Nintendo models, right? I'm gonna give it a strong B, weak B over this. Yeah, gave us 6 buttons. We went up to 6 buttons, right? Dreamcast. Oh my God, who made Dreamcast? Was that Sega? That was a Sega product, right? Or was that its own little thing? Sega? It was a Sega product? Okay. I didn't own one, but I've played one. It was weird. It was definitely weird. Then you put the game in the controller. You didn't put the game in the console. You put the game in the controller. There's something really weird about it, if I recall, right? No? Okay. What went in there then? Something went in the controller. Like in this part right here, right? Or was this like a display screen? Can't remember, man. Ah, memory card. Okay, memory card went in there. I knew something went in there. Like I said, I didn't own one, but I've played one. All right. Yeah, it was a really wonky design. The cable came out the bottom. I remember that was really weird. Yeah, that's a strong D. That's a strong D. It wasn't uncomfortable, but it wasn't great. It was not. All right, continuing on with Nintendo, I think here for a bit. The Wii gave us the revolution of being able to use motion. Wildly uncomfortable, right? Went back to the square design, but gave us the cool nunchuck, right? But again, I got one right there. It's right there. I got my nerd shelves are right there. All my cool old stuff is right there. I got one of these sitting on a shelf right there. It was awkward. Definitely was awkward, right? Because you're so used to playing sideways. We've always played controllers sideways. Then all of a sudden we have this linear remote control TV style thing in our hand and a nunchuck. But it did give us movement in game. I do remember that. So it gets bonus points for that. It gets bonus points. It's definitely comfortability wise and all that stuff. I would give it a weak D and a strong C. But because it gave us the mobility to use our movements in a game, like we've always done, like moving the controller, you're always seeing people do in the back of the day, like it's going to help them jump higher or faster or something like that. So it gets a little bonus point for me. It gets a bonus point. Now, basically, what is this? This is the oh, I remember playing Sonic, man. See, again, we can't reminisce on the games. We have to only remember the comfortability of the controller. It was actually really good for fighting games. It was really good for Sonic. I remember fighting games on there. For some reason, I want to say I played fighting games on there. I didn't own one, but like my neighbor friend growing up did. I had a Nintendo in the house. Mortal Kombat. Okay, so I wasn't wildly incorrect. Streets of Rage. That's probably it right there. Streets of Rage, right? Nice round, right? Oh, that was the first controller that gave us the angle direction, right? This one, I think so, right? Ooh. Yeah, it was the first controller to be able to go like at an angle, not just up and down. I think that's correct. I want to say that's a correct statement. I don't remember what Zoom I was on just now. I think that was the one I was on. Yeah, that was the first one to give us an angle of movement instead of just like up, down, left, right. Oh man, so he gets bonus points for that. It was comfortable, nice and round, big buttons, big nice. They were still concave. I think these were concaved buttons and not a bubble button, right? Were these like concave buttons or bubble buttons? But they were big. I'm gonna give it a B. I'm gonna give it a weak B. They were concaved. I don't like concave buttons. I like bubble buttons. Bubble buttons are definitely superior. Definitely superior. All right. So, weirdly, I'm leaving all the PlayStation controllers. I don't know what's going on with them. Xbox One controller. I'm going to say it. It's the epitome. No, that's not the right word. That is not the right word. You still remember systems playing so many hours and columns? Nice, dude. Nice. All right, no, this is the, which one is this? This is the Xbox. That's not the Xbox controller, right? That's the Xbox controller. This was the Xbox. Did they make a better one that was still for the Xbox? Because that's definitely not a USB. That's too big to be a USB. That's a wired 360 controller, really? Isn't that what that is? Or wireless? Okay. All right. We're going to give it right there. Boom. It's an A. Definitely. That's a 360 wired controller. Great controller, right? So you're right. We didn't even give it the proper points for being a wireless, right? For being revolutionary and being a wireless controller, even though it demolished batteries, right? Demolished batteries. Oh, that battery pack was a nightmare back in the day, man. Be in mid-game and just run out of juice. You're like, "Arr!" Oh, man. All right. So, Xbox One controller. Wireless, good charge, good comfortability. Customize the holy mess out of them. Is definitely not a surprise that it is top tier S-Class controller. Super comfortable. I don't own one. I would love a wired one, actually, if I could hook it up to my PC. But it is rechargeable battery packs. Yeah, were definitely required. But that wasn't a thing when they first came out. I bought them when they first came out. I remember what platform was that? PlayStation 2. I remember when the perfect timing for a cool story. When the PlayStation 2 first came out, I was actually working in electronics at Walmart. I literally, and we were told that we as employees were not allowed to buy any of the first batch that came out. And I was like, but I want one. The store manager was like, no, you can wait until the second batch, leave the first batch for customers. And we're like, okay. Literally one day, random, right? Freaking, I go on, I think I was at lunch. Yeah, I went to lunch and I came back and they were pulling stock out. And I didn't even make it back to the department. I saw the pallet that had the PlayStations in the aisle. And I was like, I'm going on my 15. I went to layaway and put it in layaway. and then paid for it when I got off when I got off work for that day. Oh, straight, just lunch to 15. I totally wrecked my whole rest of my day. Oh, it was great. It was great. Yeah, but I don't remember which ones are which. This is definitely, that's a PlayStation controller, right? This is like a classic PlayStation controller, right? Green! Greatly, what's up, dude? They're both PS1. Oh, this is before analog sticks. So analog sticks were definitely a thing for the longest time, right? When did the analog stick really come in? All right, we got analog stick here. Classic. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, hot garbage. Hot garbage. Right? No analog sticks. This one right here, that's a PlayStation with the dual analog vibration sticks, right? Definitely was better. Definitely was an improvement. We're gonna go right here, right? Chilling in Factorio. Nice, dude. Nice. All right, let's see. This is a PlayStation 2 wired controller, right? This is a PlayStation 3 controller right here. I wish. Oh, that's a PlayStation 4 controller? I've actually never. This is a PlayStation 4 controller. I've never played a PlayStation 4 controller. I have not. I have to put that in the NA stack. I have no opinion. I have never touched one of those. But I have definitely have touched these right here. List of pictures, 3, 4. All right. PlayStation 2. You know what? I probably have one in a box. So, it's right there. It's on the shelf. It's on the nerd shelf with the other controllers. It's on the nerd shelf. It's the wired one too. This one right here is comfortable, good vibration, 2 top buttons, nice. It was fatty. That's what I liked about it. You got to remember, dude, I'm 6'5", man. It's like a tiny controller is terrible for me. Like you give me like a teeny tiny controller and like size for reference, man. Size for reference, right? Dude. Right? Everybody knows what these are. Holy crap. I'm not a little dude. I'm not a little dude, right? A big, fat, meaty controller is a good thing. So, I'm going to definitely give this a B. It's a strong B. Super strong B, right? They get actually minus points. They didn't do anything different. They made some improvements, right? But all they did was change the color. Yeah, good morning, man. Creedler. What's going on? That's what she said. Big old fat boy. All right. And then this is the PlayStation 3 controller, right? The controller is an A tier slate, right? But doesn't have like terrible, absolute garbage battery life, right? How long can you go without charging a, you know what? I've never used a PlayStation 3 controller. I've never used a PlayStation 3 controller. I went from PlayStation, I played PlayStation 1. I went from the N64 to PlayStation 2. PlayStation 3 was going to come out. You couldn't play PlayStation 3 wasn't going to be back game compatible with the PlayStation 2 and 1 games. So I was like, sold it all and then bought an Xbox 360 and I never went back. That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. Oh man. Yeah, they were not backwards compatible. That was not a good thing, right? Oh man. Yeah, and I never went back to PlayStation after that. It was terrible. right? Absolutely terrible. And did they ever fix that? Which is a big mistake, right? Yeah. I think I have my. I think it's actually a. I do. It's under the table. I still have my PlayStation 2. I use it to hide cables. It's hiding cables. It's like 5 feet away from me right now. I have no idea where the power cables and stuff are to it, but I have it. I need to see. Is there an HDMI port on the? Is there an HDMI port on that? Could I? Play like an old game on it? I got the big giant network thing on that you had to get separately. What's on here? Power, optical, AV multi-out. AV multi-out? Is that output audio? I don't remember. I had to, because I don't see any audio ports on this thing. Look, I still have the memory cards are still sitting in there. Oh god, I wonder what's on there. PlayStation 2. Like this was I think, like, I don't know. It's all within reach. I'm a big dork. It's it's audio visual. Scuba, right? A lot of people don't know that's actually an abbreviation, right? Oh man. All right. Do we save these? Like, I don't know. This is the first one I've ever done. Save and download, right? Should this be what I do? Yeah, I've never touched these. Let's re-reveal. Let's go from the bottom to the top. Let's see if we change our mind on anything with how we categorize something else, right? I've never played any of these. Unfortunately, I didn't think about the PlayStation. Yeah, I totally abandoned PlayStation years ago. Nintendo controller, classic. Uncomfortable as all get not, right? Oh, but then you had access to the greatest games. Yeah, if you like Asian-based games, right? Oh my god. Like, they got everything before we did. It wasn't going to be in English, though, right? That's one thing I do remember with the Dreamcast. That same buddy that I said that I knew that had it, he liked getting like the imported games and stuff like that. Yeah, I remember. I don't remember that dude's name though. Nostalgia wise, yes, absolutely. If this was to be rated by nostalgia, it would pretty much be upside down. It'd be flipped, right? But we went with comfortability. Comfortability, Shimro, what's up, dude? Comfortability and usefulness versus older tiers versus newer tiers and stuff like that. So definitely S-Class was the number one, is the Xbox One controller. Comfortability, functionality, recharging capacity, right, was amazing, right? If you couldn't afford the extra $15, right, you couldn't get the rechargeable pack and the cable, and you had to pump a bunch of batteries in there every other day. Because when you bought it, you didn't realize that you needed a recharge pack. Because nobody said that. They said wireless controller. And we were like, this is the greatest thing ever. No, it didn't end up that way, right? Xbox analog controllers, multi-directional, 2 analog. They just basically changed it up a little bit, right? And that is still pretty much the same style that we use now with the Xbox controller. The crappiest life battery ever, right? If they ever came out with it. Whoo! So no. I'm just thinking, and I'm re-reviewing this, right? I think I'm gonna give the Switch Standard Pro a bump. Yes, I'm gonna give it a bump. I'm leaving these down here because they're just so tiny and so weird. It is great though when you have them docked on there. So that's cool, right? But I have to use like an attachment clamp to get it to where I can hold it where I don't feel like I'm gonna break it. You agree with the Sega controller, but the N64 controller and the Duke controller, right? Yeah, it's definitely the low B. Low B. So we definitely see that it's pretty standard up. And again, I've never used any of these that I can recall. So obviously if I did, right, we gave the PlayStation 2 wired controller a B, right? So this would probably be an A, but I never got to use it. It's pretty much, it's exact same size and everything, right? It's the exact same layout. So I'm going to be nice, and we're going to put it on the board and saying because they gave us an upgrade to wireless, it's better, right? I'm going to do that. I don't even know what this, like, yeah. Is this a wireless controller too? It looks so small. There's these tiny little buttons on it, right? Were the buttons tiny? Were the buttons like really, really tiny on this? Because they look meaty on here, right? They look meaty. They were slightly smaller size in the PlayStation 2 and 3. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and throw it up there, but we're gonna give it a lower. It was definitely a mistake. It was definitely a mistake. Goodbye. I have absolutely never played the Wii U. And I've never played this model, the 6-button. I never played that one. So we're going to leave those as is. Everything else is good to go. I agree. Do you guys agree? Yes or no? Probably not. We'll see where the day goes. That's going to be it right there. I'm going to save that. Looks decent to you?